It's the first huge slate in the NHL season so far, and we are here to break it down right here on PuckTime. Myself, Andrew McInnis, of course, with Carmine Bianco, as usual. And today, not one, but two guests with us, Lawrence, the Prezman, and Bryan Leonard, joining us here to give us some thoughts on some games of their choice. Looking forward to a jam-packed puck time. We got a lot of you guys in the live chat already. We will take some questions at the end of the show, but a lot of games. So, Carm, we won't waste too much time. But before we bring in Prez, how are you, Carm?
I'm good, man. 14 games today, 28 teams in action, no games tomorrow. We are going to cover the you and I are going to cover the Jets and Stars, Canes and Devils, and then Vegas and the Sharks. And then we got Bryan Leonard coming in a little later on. He is going to do the Anaheim and Seattle game. But let's bring in none other than the Prez. He's going to talk about the Florida Panthers, one of his favorite teams, playing the Philadelphia Flyers. Prez.
Well, who doesn't love the Florida Panthers, right?
Absolutely. How can you not love this team? Two-time Stanley Cup champions, 3 finals in a row. Prez is in an elevator, apparently. But with that said,
I don't like being so low down. You know, I'm 5'7". I got to deal with being a little guy all my life. So now I've raised the bar. I'm high.
Small guy, big heart. Prez.
Yes, sir.
I know you got a ton of things to do today. The Florida Panthers minus 214 at home. The Philadelphia Flyers plus 174. The total sits here currently at 5.5, shaded 22 cents to the over. 25 at other books, which likely means this is going to probably hit a 6 at some point today. Give us your thoughts on this one.
Before I do that, can I just make mention what a pleasure it is that I'm going to be on the same show as Bryan Leonard today. The last time I did a show with Bryan Leonard, I'd like to tell you how it went, if you don't mind. So I was doing WagerTalk today. It was the start of the baseball season. Bryan Leonard comes on, and I am like, Bri, what do you think of the Jays pitching staff? He's like, oh, the whole damn staff will be traded. The Jays won't win 80 games this year. Trade them all. They're a horrible, horrible team. Just wanted to throw that out there. That was this year. Start of this year. This year, Bryan Leonard. This year. Okay.
Wait. Hold on. Before you go any further. So what you're saying is we should always judge someone by their initial thoughts and not on how the season progresses.
Yeah. Well, given that he never emailed or texted or said anything, he never congratulated us last night by text. Nothing. All he did was insult our Jays, Carmine. And now he says I have dementia.
You must have me confused with somebody else, he says in the YouTube chat. Prez, my favorite part, obviously as a fan, it's exciting. Underdogs in every game but one. You got to love that. Underdogs in every single game but one. That's super exciting. But yeah, Prez, when you chose this game, looking at Florida, a lot of people were upset the fact that the Florida Panthers' first game of the season was against the Chicago Blackhawks. Like the NHL marketing
people are upset. This is the world we live in. That they're upset about that world as well.
I wouldn't say politicians are upset, but I'd say the hockey world's upset about it. I think that you look at other sports, look at how the NFL starts out. It's 2 big-time teams. You look at how every sport starts. We were comparing it yesterday as if the Chiefs played the Titans on opening night in the NFL. Imagine that. Imagine if it was the Golden State Warriors.
It wasn't a standalone game,
against the Charlotte Hornets.
There were other
playing
games
each other
that night. Okay.
So Florida off that game. What do you think about them tonight?
Okay, so let's handicap this thing. I like the under in this game. I like the under. I'm looking to bet the under in all Florida games and all Flyer games. From the Florida perspective, I mean, this team is a stone cold under team regardless, period. They play defense. They have outstanding goaltending, and they grind, and they're heavy, and they're just tough to play against. The forecheck, the back check. And now without Barkov and Tkachuk, I understand that those are two defensive specialists, but they're also two guys that score. Matthew Tkachuk is their number one scorer. Barkov is maybe their number 2 or 3. So I think that recognizing that they don't have a lot of depth scoring wise, I think this is a team that is going to try grind out wins. We saw it against Chicago. They won 3-2. I think tonight's game will be 2-1 with maybe an empty netter to make 3-1. I think the Flyers are very similar. I think the Flyers' approach this year is going to be copy Florida. Play tight, play aggressive, back check, forward check, focus on your system, focus on your role. The goals will come, keep the puck out of the net. That's going to be Philadelphia's slogan all year, and we already know it's Florida's. I'd love for you guys to wait. I think there might be a 6 coming up, given that it's so heavily juiced to under on the 5.5. But I do think this game is going to go under. And listen, guys, I wouldn't be blown away if Philadelphia wins this game. Florida's going to get everybody's best all year, and especially at the beginning of the season with an upstart team like Philly.
Prez, do you think there's any type of a coaching bump? I know initially,
yes.
Rick Tocchet back with the
yes.
Flyers. We know what he did in Vancouver, and they were a much better team, but other problems with that team, and then eventually goaltending and injuries to Demko and what have you. But, Florida gets the initial win. Can you not see an upset in this one? Or can you see an upset in this one?
I already said I can see an upset in this one. I would not be surprised if Philadelphia won. And the fact that Tocchet is behind the bench also solidifies my desire to play the under. I think Tocchet is going to be very similar to how he was as a player, and that is grind him out, hit him, beat him up, make that, what is the word? To the pain. That would be Rick Tocchet's motto, to the pain.
Without pain, there is no pleasure. This is a phrase that can be used for hockey as well, too, amongst other things in life. Andrew, you're still young. You'll get it eventually, us old people.
I'll get you old people.
Yeah. By the time you get us, we won't even be around. Anyway.
Yeah. Prez, what do you got up at WagerTalk?
Well, I've started the NHL season 0-3, and I'm pretty bummed about it. I had 2 horrible losses last night. Under 6. Yes, Tim, the Prez sucks. We know, blah, 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 blah. I'm actually going to address all haters on the best betting show ever later today. So Tim, check it out. I'll mention you as well. What was I saying? I got one. I was on the under in the Toronto Maple Leaf game last night. 2 empty netters did me in, and I was on Edmonton in regulation, which is insane that play lost. But I mean, this is just how it goes in hockey sometimes. I got 1 NFL play up. I've won 8 of my last 9 days of NFL betting. 8 of my last 9. I'm up 22 units of profit already on the season, over 62%. And I have 1 NHL play, and that's really it. As far as the blue line goes, there is no blue line this year or ever again, likely, because Matthew Barnaby took a full-time job on a network and just doesn't have the time to do this for free. The bidding went like this so that you guys understand. We bidded $0 for Matthew's time, and it left a huge hole in the market for someone to outbid us.
Yeah, seems like a pretty good bid competition there.
We started with 0. We ended with 0. And someone jumped in with like a 6-figure contract, and we were like, bye-bye.
I guess
but Matthew will be around. He's going to be part of my show, the best betting show ever, every now and again.
I guess he didn't figure the invaluable, just having you as a friend and having your knowledge.
We're still friends.
Access to your knowledge.
I appreciate you, Carm. We're still friends.
All right, Prez, thanks for coming in. Good luck with your NFL tonight. and of course your NHL and the season. It is a marathon, not a sprint. You know that.
Oh yeah, dude. Of
Better
course.
than anybody else. You've been in this industry forever. So best of luck to you tonight and for the season. Andrew, dude, we're starting with this Jets Stars game. It is unbelievable because when I was doing stats last night, Andrew, and you're looking at the lines here, the Stars minus 114, the Jets 106, minus 106. The total's at 15 cents to the over. These teams played 10 times last season, including playoffs.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I didn't know you were done there. You just kind of stopped talking.
I went mute.
You're like, these teams played this many times.
Andrew, I'm just going to say something real quickly. I'm just going to say something. Whenever I get into like an argument with my wife, this is my phrase. I go, all right, I'm just going to go mute. And then about the fourth or fifth time I say it, she goes, are you ever going to follow up on just going mute and keep it that way? So
yeah, they whenever we threaten that, it usually doesn't end up going very well.
No.
All right, so this is the thing about this matchup here. Winnipeg was the top 10 team defensively as far as expected goals against in 2024, 2025. They had the MVP of the league as their goalie. So you can kind of look at it in a couple different ways, how you expect them to kind of roll out here in this matchup. But when I look at it is this. The Dallas Stars, they have now Mikko Rantanen for quite some time, not just for a trade line acquisition, not just for a few months. They've got this guy from the start of the season. And Carm, when I look at this roster now, they lost Logan Stankoven. They lost maybe a depth piece, and he's great. You know, he's a good young player, but the Dallas Stars are in win now mode. I was just talking with Prez saying that people weren't happy. It was Blackhawks and Panthers as the first game of the whole entire NHL season. Well, I'm happy to see these two teams going head to head for their first games of the season. When I look at this one, Carm, I like the road team. I lean towards the Dallas Stars. You got a couple new pieces on this Winnipeg team. You got a couple things to mention. And also last year, they did struggle a little bit out the gate as far as their offensive ability is concerned. I think the difference between these two teams is the offensive output. We obviously know two good goaltenders. We obviously know good defense. But when it comes to the offensive output, I feel a bit more confident in the Dallas Stars. And of course, looking at odds logic right now and looking at the opening number and kind of where things have moved, we have seen a little bit of love come in on Dallas, but for the most part, it has remained a pick 'em. And if you take it into account, home ice advantage, I would kind of say that Dallas is favored here in this one. So I like the road team. I think that out the gate, at least, this team's going to have the cohesion. They're going to have the depth. They're going to be a little bit too deep. They're going to come at the Jets in waves. You have the MVP as your goalie for Winnipeg, and I get that. But sometimes if your goalie wins the MVP, and that's a big reason why you win a lot of games, then, you know, maybe he's not going to bail you out as many times as he did last year. And maybe that happens right out the gate here, Carm. So I like the road team here.
Yeah, Andrew, it's not hard not to like them, or it's hard not to like them. I'm looking at the total here. I mean, early on, it's tough with totals, and you look at these teams, and there's no strong data to taking the first period over or under. Winnipeg last year, 24 of 41 home games during the regular season stayed under the 1.5, but it was like 26 of Dallas's games went over the total. And early on, the Dallas Stars were scoring goals and allowing goals. But it's hard to ignore the fact that these teams played 10 times last season, 4 during the regular season, 5 or 6 in the playoffs, and 9 of those games went under the total. And some of those totals were at 5. 9-1, the total here sits at, what is it? It's sitting, is it at 5 or 5.5? I believe it's at 5.5. I'm just
5.5.
Just confirmed 5.5. Yeah, it's we've seen some scoring early on. We've seen some games where they've been just complete bum type of games. You know what I mean? Like you look at like the Bruins and Washington there, not much scoring there from a Washington team that has scored a lot of goals. We look at that Pittsburgh New York Rangers game that started out. It's just, I can't take the over in this game. I don't want to take a side. The only way I can lean, and it's leaning with the numbers from last year, is 9 of 10 games went under the total, and I'll lean to another one here. Winnipeg getting getting the win on home ice in a low-scoring affair. Anytime, Andrew. I'm here.
We might be head-to-head here with this, Carm, but I'm going to ask you, do you think that does correlate? Like, we saw Winnipeg get off to a phenomenal start last year. Everybody remembers it. We all remember the start that they have. But do you think that this correlates to under? Like, do you think that for the most part, wins correlate to unders with Winnipeg, or do you trust them to win the track meet against the Dallas Stars?
I don't think they win the track meet against the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars proved last year that they could score goals, and they did it. Winnipeg proved that they could win those 3-2 games. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them in the playoffs. Then they lose Game 6 in OT, 2-1 in OT against the Stars. But with that said, you've got two very good goalies here, and you look at the good goalies thus far this season. One game in, and it's only one game in, but you look at a guy like Logan Thompson. He looked very good against the Bruins. Jerry Swayman looked very good against Washington. So Stuart Skinner didn't look as good on that third goal. I think that's what pissed off the Prez last night. I don't know what Swayman was thinking, or sorry, not Swayman. I don't know what Skinner was thinking on that goal that Calgary tied it up on. His
controller died.
He
froze.
His controller did die. To change the batteries on that one. But with that said, I'm going to give it to the goalies. I'm going to give it to two teams that can play defense, and maybe if you don't get any scoring in the first period, or maybe just a goal, maybe they settle into it. It could very well be one of those ones, Andrew, that you love to talk about, where you get the first period over and then the game stays under the total. So that very well could happen here. I put this game on the schedule because it is such a tough one to pick, and I wanted us to have, which it looks like we do, conflicting opinions on which way it'll go, but we shall see. I'll go with you like the Stars. I'll go with 3-1 Stars, and we're both happy.
Perfect. Right. That works completely fine with me. Carmen, a lot of great comments coming in here, and people talking about the underdogs. Like, if you've played every underdog so far, just especially based on the numbers, you've definitely been able to make some money so far. Everyone talking about some live bets, looking at third period overs, all kinds of good stuff. So I mean, right now the live chat is bumping and people are fired up to have hockey back, but we keep saying this every single day, and especially me, but teams so far, guys, that are bad, quote unquote, don't know they're bad yet. So we just want to say that, like, if you're looking at sometimes laying these huge prices, you want to look towards the team total. You want to look towards the regulation or puck line or whatever it may be. I would honestly feel more comfortable playing a -200 in December than I would in October, because, teams like Pittsburgh, so far, they feel like they're just as good as anybody else. But you wait till they go on a 6-game losing streak, then things are a little bit different for them as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, no, listen, 100%. And that's why I said to people, like, and I think I referenced it with yesterday. I said, don't just think that you can take the Vegas Golden Knights, the Washington Capitals, and the Edmonton Oilers and bundle them into a parlay, because they're all at pretty much at -200, and think you're getting plus money, because one of them likely goes down. Now, I did think it was going to be the Vegas Golden Knights that went down. I thought the LA Kings were a live dog, and mentioned it on yesterday's show along with the first period over. Both of those hit. The Washington Capitals didn't. They got off to a slow start in that one, and Pasta and Geeky, the two guys I talked about. Well, other than these two guys, where do they find the scoring? Well, Pasta and Geeky did the scoring yesterday for the Bruins. So I had to Washington in regulation -130. I'd much rather, you don't want to lose, but I'd much rather lose, Andrew, with a -130 than a full game -180, 190 line. Speaking of something in that range, Andrew, the Carolina Hurricanes. Is this, we ask it every season, kind of like Leaf fans, this is our season. Carolina Hurricanes, is this their season? -164. The Devils +134. The total 5.5 shaded 20 cents to the over. Are the Devils a live dog?
Yeah, I think they are, Carm. I think they are. I think this Hurricanes team is a little bit overhyped. This is a good team, but they haven't really seemed to get too much better. People look at this roster overall, and you kind of ask what they're going to bring on a year-by-year basis, and it seems like a team that's built to get to the playoffs, but not really do much once they do get to the playoffs here. But New Jersey is healthy. New Jersey seems to be a team that gets off to a good start. This is a team, I think, when you look at their expected goals against last season. I know we're going to always talk about the advanced metrics with Brian as well, so I look forward to talking to him in a few moments. But looking at some of these defensive numbers for the Carolina Hurricanes, they ranked in the top 10 as far as expected goals against. But expected goals for them, you know, they're a team that isn't nearly up there as far as the top ranks are concerned. So Carolina, Edmonton, Florida, Dallas, Washington, ding, 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 the New Jersey Devils. That team is right up there on the whole entire calendar year, 2024, 2025, in expected goals for. So maybe it is an opportunity for a live dog on the New Jersey Devils. Also could be a good opportunity for some props in this game. Looking at some of these lineups here, and honestly, Carm, looking at this new line that I think is going to be a pretty good one with Timo Meier, Nico Hischier, and Dawson Mercer. A guy like Dawson Mercer, anytime assist, anytime point, could be good because he's playing with two skilled players like Hischier and Meier. So I do think it's a live dog opportunity with the Devils, and I think that second line for the Devils is where you're going to find value on the props. First line with Evgeny Dadonov, with Hughes and Bratt, might be a little bit too juicy on the point props. Anybody that plays with Hughes, it's too juicy. Second line with those guys, with Mercer, with Timo Meier, could get some value on the player props there with that. So, yeah, I think this is a live dog spot, Carm, but mostly a prop game for me so far. What do you think? I mean, these are two teams in the Metro that are good, but the Metro overall wasn't nearly as good as other divisions last year.
Yeah, you know, Andrew, I'm going to harp on it for the first couple of weeks seasons. I'm like the old man yelling at the clouds that I'm taking a cautious approach, but maybe with full game lines. But I love to give on the show, especially when they win. I love to give these first period plays on the show. Now you look at the total here. You can't play the total because there's no strong numbers for it. The Devils on the road last year to the under were 25 and 15, 40 games because they played one overseas, 25 and 15 to the under. The Canes, though, were 25 and 16 to the first period over. So they'll pretty much wipe each other out. I will say this, though. The Canes, along with Colorado last year, were the two worst teams at home in the opening 20 minutes of the game. You look at last season, Colorado was 13, 17, and 14, minus 14 units if you're betting them on the first period money line. The Canes, 15, 15, and 19, minus 13.8 units if you're betting them on the first period line. You can get the Devils here, first period, at plus 121. I'm just seeing if there's any other books that have a better price. The Superbook in Vegas has 130 along with Circa. FanDuel has 126. But get in, get out, and hopefully get a winner. So I'm going to take the New Jersey Devils first period to get the job done. If it's tied at the end of 20 minutes, then hell, it's a push. But I'm taking the Devils here, Andrew.
Carm, you had a good read on that trend all year long last year. We were making jokes between my first period overs with your first period side bets. It's almost like you and I just didn't want to watch some of these teams for a full 60 minutes. We just wanted to watch 20 minutes, the first period, move on to another game. And, well, with how big the slate is tonight, Carm, I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to watch just one game for 20 minutes and then move on to another one as well. So nice plus price there on that one in the first period. I'll look towards probably some props. I'm not sure if the Devils will make my card, but I do think they could be a live dog. And everyone's talking in the live chat about Ehlers. Ehlers moves from Winnipeg to Carolina. Carm, we always know this, man. A new player doesn't always fit in right away. They don't always fit in right away. It doesn't always work out immediately for a new team. It worked out for one team we're going to mention later on in the show with their new player last night, but it doesn't always work out right away.
It depends. It's apples and oranges, but yes, if you're counting, and this is why I say it's an 82 game season. If you're counting early on in the season, you could say, well, the Leafs are 1-0 without Mitch Marner, and the Vegas Golden Knights are 0-1 with Mitch Marner. Come on, man. It is absolutely ridiculous. But you and I are going to talk about the Vegas and the Sharks, and we're hoping this guy will hang around after he does the Anaheim-Seattle game to give us his thoughts on Vegas and the Sharks as well, too, because I have some questions for him on that game tonight and a couple questions on last night's. But let's bring him in, man. Bryan Leonard, he is like a breath of fresh air each and every day. God, that hair, you and Andrew with the hair, man, it's just pissing me off.
Brian, donate some to Carm. He needs it, man. Just give some on it. You keep going back for it.
He's a good-looking man. He doesn't need it.
God bless you, man. Brian, hope you're doing well. We'll talk a little later after this game, but Anaheim and Seattle. New coach in Anaheim, of course, with Joel Quenneville. Does that factor into your handicap on this game?
Not really. We did see some new coaches come out yesterday and have some success. The reason why I chose this game is I really don't like the Kraken this year. I think I've got the Kraken rated as probably the third worst team in hockey behind San Jose and Chicago. Why are they favored? I know the Ducks were a popular play this year. A lot of people like them. They performed very well last year and had a lot of success. They're a very young team. But why is Seattle favored in this game? I think the wrong team is favored. Anaheim's done very well in their opening games overall, so we'll see how that goes. But there's a few games on schedule where I think there's some live dogs. And you mentioned the Dogs having success so far, and we had Pittsburgh the first game on opening day. I liked Chicago in the second day, and yesterday we had the LA Kings. Unfortunately, the Golden Knights scored a little bit more than I thought they would. I thought it would be a lower scoring game. You guys didn't. I watched the show yesterday, and you both thought it'd be some scoring in that one. But I like Anaheim here. I think they're the better team. I think it's going to be a long season for Seattle. And a lot of the guys, other than our handicappers on this show that I follow, agree with me that they think Seattle's an overrated team. And so anytime I can get the better team at plus money, that's the way I'm looking for it. And right now, as was mentioned, the Dogs have gotten off to a good start. And it's something that I think happens every year because you get a team. You mentioned Pittsburgh. Chicago gave Florida a really good run. You mentioned the teams that everybody's talked about are going to be terrible, like the Penguins. They think the Penguins are going to be terrible. And they heard that all off season. Well, they've got a chip on their shoulder the entire time. And now they get out there to play. I think these teams in the first couple of weeks of the season are really good betting opportunities, teams that did not look good last year. And, we're going to go with Anaheim in this one.
Brian, you're right. They're a popular team coming into this season, but like you said, this matchup, it really kind of confuses me as far as the price because I think it's just a tale of two different teams, a team on the uprise and a team going down. The NHL put out their list of the average age, like the youngest and oldest teams the other day. And I know that you don't want to have probably the youngest team in the league, but you don't want to have the oldest team either. And this Anaheim team has a lot of youth. So going into this year, I'll be looking to back a lot of overs on team totals and things like that, maybe full game overs. They have a good goalie in Anaheim, but they give up a lot of chances, but they score as well. The good news is I don't think you have to worry about that much with Seattle because they don't create a hell of a lot of chances either. So I really like that one. Brian coming at us with a pick. One of the last games of the night, guys, 10:10 Eastern time, looking at Anaheim live duck. Brian, we expect nothing less out of you, by the way, to come on with an underdog for your first play for the brand new season. We needed that, a nice little live dog, and I think it's a good spot for the Anaheim Ducks. By the way, you're welcome on the Jays bandwagon whenever you want. Don't listen to Prez. If you trashed them earlier, I got a short memory. I don't even know what I had for breakfast yesterday, or breakfast this morning, I should say. You know what? You can come on. I didn't hear a thing about what you said. You're always welcome on the Blue Jays bandwagon, by the way. You're always welcome.
I honestly, I think it was Brian Power. Brian Power talked about the Blue Jays bullpen being absolutely abysmal, that they were overrated. And then I fought back with him a little later on. He said he was going to sing "Go Canada" on his Power 5 to make up for it, which he never did. But with that said, yeah, we sent the Yankees to Aruba or Cancun or wherever they go. But it happened, and we'll see with the next one. Brian, I got to ask you 2 questions. Obviously, the second one will be the Vegas game tonight against the Sharks. But the first one is, you look at them, you look at some of the post-game reactions of the Vegas game last night, and I don't get the fan base. They can't be fans. Guys are like, Aiden Hill needs to be on the next bus out of town. Aiden Hill this, Aiden Hill. This is a guy who won like 50-something games last year and had his best goals against average.
I don't understand any fan that downplays their team after one game. I'm watching the game with my wife, who fell behind. Vegas fell behind 2-0. And granted, I had LA. I didn't want to tell her, but she's
I love that.
We're gonna get rid of Aiden Hill. I said, don't start. It's the first game. Come on now. I said, the guy's been terrific for us the entire time. But I don't understand where Prez is talking about. I wasn't a big fan of the Toronto pitching staff, but I had a 5% play yesterday on Toronto. I've been riding Toronto for a long time. I don't know what he's talking about.
Let's go.
And for a guy who names his show the greatest sports betting show ever, you think he exaggerates a little bit. I don't know how the greatest betting show ever could ever have Prez on, unless Prez is the one that came up with that total or with that title of the show. I joke with Prez, but I'm a little upset that Prez got to come on first and I got to be the backup. I'm a little upset about that.
That might honestly be the best answer you could have given to that.
Well, let me tell you why, Brian.
5% play on the Blue Jays after that statement. That's a mic drop right there. That is awesome.
I've been riding the Blue Jays for so long. Like you said, he hasn't been on a show with me since before baseball season. That's like 9 months ago. That tells you how often Prez wants me on a show with him.
Yeah, let me tell you, Brian, it is like you go out for an absolutely terrible dinner, but the dessert is the best part of the dinner. That's why you are on after the Prez.
Whoa.
All right,
Brian, you're dessert. You're the dessert of the show.
I'm just sweet. That's all he can say.
Wow. There's a lot of different ways that analogy could have been used.
Yes, it could have. Tonight they play the Sharks. Good bounce back spot for them.
I believe it is. And one of the things a lot of people look at will be a team playing the second game, and they freak out about it, like the Kings. The Kings did not look good in their first game. They came out. They had a game under the belt already. The coach of the Golden Knights said, he goes, you know what? They've got the advantage on us. They've already gone out and played a game with full practice from all their players. Teams playing the second game of a back-to-back early in the season do not bother me at all, and we get better spreads on that. We're getting what I consider the best team playing today against one of the worst teams playing today, and you're laying really less than $2 on the road off of a game in which they had a 5-3 lead and blew it. Throwing the fact that Vegas has never lost a game in regulation in San Jose. I believe they're like 14-0-2. And also throwing the fact that as much as I like the young players for San Jose, they're still not going to be a good team. Their young players are great. It's like Anaheim. I really like their young players, but they beat up on Vegas every year in the preseason. I believe they played them 2 or 3 times this year. I'm not sure Vegas got a single win against them. But San Jose beats them up in the preseason, and then when the games actually count, Vegas crushes them. Yeah. I don't like to lay big numbers, although I did last night on on Edmonton, and I did lose that. Luckily, it was a small play, but the only way to look in this game is for Vegas to come out and considering they didn't get really anything out of their Marner line on the power plays and stuff. Georgiev scored 3 goals, including a power play goal. I think Vegas, talent-wise, this is a much deeper team than what they have had in the past. They've got guys on the 3rd and 4th line that can score, and last year they didn't have that. This is a team that's one of the top 3 teams in hockey, and off of a loss, playing against a team they dominate during the regular season. This is a good bet. Even though you're laying close to $2, I still think Vegas is a very good bet tonight.
All right, guys, that's Brian Leonard, WagerTalk. Brian, and Eichel got the bag. He got his bag of money. So positive times in Vegas ahead. Brian, what do you have up at WagerTalk?
Actually, I did the baseball show. I don't like either one of these games today, so I'm going to pass. I gave out a college football play for $5 the other day, and I took it down right after. That's what I've been doing every week to give those people that bought it early the only chance to get it. So I do have a game today, but if you missed it, it's gone. I don't have anything else up. Don't like the football game today, but I really do like this card in hockey. As soon as I'm done today, I will put those plays up. And as we know, been around for 11 years, the most profit in NHL hockey and Major League Baseball over that time. So excited about the season, and we haven't had anything bigger than a 1.5-star play so far. So I'm looking for a bigger play, at least one on today's card, and that'll be up in the next hour or so.
All right, Brian, I appreciate you coming on, and we're going to see plenty of you this season long. Brian's like happy hour. If you miss it, it's gone. That's it at your local pub.
That's right.
So, but thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next week when we have full slates. Andrew, we still have to discuss this game, Vegas and the Sharks. And I was going to mention it to Brian. It's so far removed from that playoff game where that 5-minute penalty and the Sharks score like 4 power play goals and eventually beat the Vegas Golden Knights. That chip is on their shoulder and it's never left. And he mentioned it, 14-0-2 against the Sharks, I believe, in San Jose. That's not a bad record.
Carm, they've dominated the Sharks team. This is the thing, though, is the whole point is when I'm looking at this number here, and Brian mentioned it, is do you want to lay this price? And I think in this matchup off a loss, maybe it can be a little bit intriguing here. I don't know if I want to look at this number early on. I mean, based on the underdogs that we have seen cash so far this season, guys, do you want to lay a favorite like this so far? I'll tell you what, yesterday, Vegas game versus LA, I had a 4-0 sweep with clients, 1-0 in the first period over, and then we had a handful of player props. This matchup seems no different as far as the player props that we can capitalize. Dan, if you have the pictures there, you can pull it up for me. We'll start with the Vegas team. I want to just look at these lines. Barbashev, Eichel, Marner, Riley, Smith, Carlson, Mark Stone. But that third line of Brandon Saad, Tomas Hertl, and Pavel Dorofeyev. Pavel Dorofeyev is minus 120, guys, again tonight to get a point. Okay? Well, I shouldn't say again tonight because yesterday he was minus 105. The guy got a hat trick. Yesterday, and he's minus 120 just to get one singular point. To me, that's something that I think I want to run back looking at Dorofeyev. I'll tell you what, as well, we're talking about when it's worth it to lay juice. Here's a prop that I'm probably going to be on, and you guys might think this is too juicy. Last night, I played this at minus 145, and it cashed easily because he got multiple assists. Mitch Marner to get an assist is minus 155, 160. That's worth it to me. If you combo Jack Eichel goal, Mitch Marner assist, or Marner goal, Jack Eichel assist, I think both those guys to get a point even, putting those two guys together is a pretty good bet to look at. Now, just really quickly, looking at San Jose, we know how good the San Jose Sharks young players are. But the good news about a really bad team, and the good news about a team that's still kind of getting up in the rankings right now is you get value when it comes to the player props. So one I want to look at is Tyler Toffoli. This guy is like the dad of the team. He really is. He's on the right wing, second line, playing with Wenberg and Eklund. He's out there on the power play as well, and you're getting -125. This guy is the veteran of the team. He's probably someone to look for to get going, to score, to get production early on in the season. I think Tyler Toffoli at -125 is a pretty good prop bet to look at. And then if you look at some goal scorers as well, Carm, I'll just give one out that I kind of like in this game tonight. And that's going to be Will Smith at +275. Everyone talks about Macklin Celebrini, but you got to talk about Will Smith as well. The Fresh Prince of San Jose. He's pretty good. And everyone talks about his running mate Celebrini, but Will Smith is just as good. +275. A very good prop game, I would say, in this one, San Jose and Vegas.
Yep. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth, Andrew. That's the Will Smith line in case.
Keep my wife's damn. Yeah.
But I'm going to go for the plus money here. I'm going to go Vegas puck line. It's just a good bounce back spot, I think. And then you look at the last 4 games they played in San Jose that were not preseason games, regular season games: 4-1, 6-3, 4-2, and 4-0. They have covered the puck line of their last 4 regular season games in San Jose. They make it 5 tonight. We score some plus money, and we move on to the weekend of NHL. So I will take the puck line, Andrew. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know, Karma. I want to see your new tattoo. Apparently, that's what everybody's
No, it is. It's actually not me that has a tattoo. I do have one on my arm here, which is to honor my parents, who have both passed away from cancer. But it was this past weekend, I was downtown while the Blue Jays were playing, and NFL football was on Sunday, and my wife was getting a tattoo. She was in the chair for 6 hours, and there just happened to be a Gabby's bar just below it, and with a lot of Blue Jays and Yankees fans, and then made it over to where the game was. So I had a great time downtown while she was in pain for 6 hours. So
he's got an Eagles logo on his ass, according to Dan. And please, whatever you do, please don't put that on the screen. Carm brings up the puck line, and I think the puck line's a pretty good bet for this one. All right, guys, only probably a couple more minutes left on the show. We have a couple of questions saved, but just really quick, anybody watching live on X or on YouTube, give us any questions, any games you want to talk about. There's a ton of games on the slate, any player props, anything you want to mention. Leg Show Magazine, not a bad price there. He says, how about Vegas -0.5 goal first period +140? I cashed that yesterday at +130 with the Edmonton Oilers. I kind of lean that in this one here. I think that they're going to be motivated. They're not going to be happy with the defensive effort. But sometimes when a good team plays a quote-unquote bad team, Carm, to your point with the full game puck line, I would almost prefer for them to have the full 60 minutes to win by 2 than to have 20 minutes to win the period. Give it the full game, I think.
100%. I think over the course of 60 minutes, if your lines are all great and you put up that great image there with the lines that the Vegas Golden Knights are, roll out those lines, dominate or win those second and third line matchups, and score some goals and roll with it. Sometimes it doesn't happen in the first period, so we'll see if it happens in the second or third. But that's where I'm looking at as far as that one goes, Andrew. I think what's that?
Knights and Rag.
Yeah, it's a lower price if you don't want to lay the -190 to 200. Then that is also another option that you can take. I like them in this spot. I think they bounce back. Again, we're so early into the season, we don't know how some teams are going to perform, but we know that the teams that are sort of in the upper echelon, Andrew, of the NHL, that they're going to win more games, obviously, than they lose, and hopefully they do it early on. Some teams tend to struggle. I talked about the Edmonton Oilers yesterday very quickly, the fact that they started 0-3 last season and they started 1-6 the previous season. Yesterday, they played a great game. They shouldn't have lost.
Yep.
It was one bad mental error by Stuart Skinner, unfortunately, that led to the 3-3 goal. And then once it goes to OT and it goes to a shootout, it is a coin flip at that point.
All right. Rapid fire. We'll go through a couple questions here. Russell, thanks for the nice words about the new late night show. New show, guys, 10 p.m. Eastern each night. Carm joined me on the first night. Carm, was Sullivan the problem with the Pens? It sure looked like it against the Rangers. Just one game. We all know that, but they looked pretty flat, man. They did look pretty flat.
Yeah.
What do you think? The Rangers bounce back, Carm, tonight?
Yeah, the Rangers, listen, Andrew, I don't even know if they're going to bounce back tonight. I'll be honest with you. They're going to have to buy into like his system. I think last year they were top 5 in shots allowed last season, and which is not a good thing. As good as Shesterkin is, you cannot allow teams to pepper your goalie because at some point those are going to go in, and whether it's Shesterkin or whether it's your backup in there, it is a bad thing to do all season long and tough to overcome. He's trying to keep this team playing a more of a defensive game, and they did it in game 1. The only problem is they sacrificed the offense, and the offense really didn't click at all. They didn't score. They only lose that game 1-0. But can they bounce back tonight? I'm not really sure. The Sabres are just a wild card of a team. They come with a ton of energy. They play an offensive game, and it remains to be seen tonight. I think we see some goals in that game tonight between the Rangers and the Sabres, and I think the Sabres are going to draw the Rangers into their type of game instead of the other way around.
Carm, shots on goal props here. Looking at the comments, we want some shots on goal props out of you. Russell's dapping you up. He's showing you love here with your shots on goal props over the years. Anything that sticks out to you? Any one that you thought, and if not, maybe any team or player tonight that could be good to look at?
I think we got to lay 3.5. I'm not sure, Andrew. You might be able to bring it up, but in this game with the Sabres and the New York Rangers, I like Tage Thompson shot props. He's had some very good games against the New York Rangers, and I can just see that continuing tonight. I'm just bringing it up quickly as we go because we're running a little late on the show as well too. But Tage Thompson is over 3.5 plus 130. I'll take the plus money there and look for Tage to get 4 tonight against this Rangers team.
All right.
Why not?
It's never been the defense that's been wrong or the offense that's been wrong with the Sabres, Carm. We all know it's never been the offense. It's the defense. So they could be a really good team for shot props, for point props, and all that good stuff. Wolf Eyes Gaming TV. Talk about Tampa Bay versus Senators. I'll just throw this out there. Not sure if it'll be a client play. It may be a client play. Minus 105, guys. Team total over 3.5. You guys know last year I started doing the team totals and I never looked back. I love this minus 105 price range. It might have moved overnight. I have not checked it, full transparency, over this morning, but over 3.5 against the Senators. Sens are a good team. You know, they do rely on goaltending, though. They do have some shaky defense, and I think Tampa's well rested, and they're coming for the Atlantic Division this year. They want it. They want to prove to people they're still a great team. And with Florida being as injured as they are, I think they're going to dominate this Atlantic Division. So I think over 3.5, first game of the season for both these teams. I feel like Tampa Bay, that's the best way to go for them. All right, Carm, I like this one. Goose says, I've bet all 6 dogs this year and have gone 4-2. Well, congrats on that, number one. Let me know how that goes tonight after playing every dog tonight on this massive slate. And really quick, I saw this question before. Christian Dvorak for Andrew. Can I spend a moment speaking about his impression on what he will bring? Look, what he's going to bring is defensive zone faceoffs, defensive zone coverage, penalty killing time, and he will give you the odd goal. What he's going to bring, I'm guessing you're asking this because you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan. He's going to bring stability. That's what he's going to bring. He's going to bring reliability. He's a veteran that's not going to get you out of your seat, not going to make a bunch of fancy plays, but he's going to be very reliable. All right, Carm, that's probably it here. So we've been asking Brian and we've been asking Prez and talking to the audience, what do you have up for clients? Best bet, everything going on. You've got some soccer action, I believe. You're doing well with football again this year, and it's obviously a huge slate tonight in the NHL.
Yeah, NFL and NHL are going to be loaded after the show. I've already got the plays, just finishing up the write-ups right after the show. 2 World Cup qualifying plays, 6-3-1 with World Cup qualifying plays. Tonight's NFL play will be a 4% play, 7-1 run in the NFL with 4% or higher plays. And since 2022, up over 140 units. That's number 1 at WagerTalk. Nobody is better. I'm going to say it. I'm going to flex for once. I don't have any muscles, but I'm going to flex for once. So, and then let's get some NHL winners. Pick up that 1-day all access, guys. And I have a 5% play getting loaded for the NFL. I will have a coupon code for that one. If you pick up any of the plays on today's card, that $10 off coupon will be in there. So that's it for me, Andrew. Let us know what you have up and close it out.
Carm, multiple sports going for you right now. I would say if people want to get in on Carm's action, probably buy a week pass, maybe longer, 1 month pass, all kinds of sports going for Carm right now. You guys know that I have just been diving deep into the NHL. Yesterday, we went 7-3. 7-3, only a handful of games on board. Last year, I barely did any props, guys. I kind of just said I'm not going to do it with clients this year. This year, I'm all in. Here's the rule. Every single prop bet I give out, 0.5%, 0.5% at WagerTalk. Yesterday, 7-3. We hit the first period over in the LA game. We cashed a ticket, of course, on the Edmonton Oilers first period -0.5 goal. So a lot of nice plus money there with those games and a lot of great success so far to start off the season. I got a 5% play tonight, guys. Promo code SOCIALS15. SOCIALS15 takes $15 off my 5% play tonight. If you want the full season pass, use that promo code NHL200. But if you want just the big bet, the 5% play, long term, we've had a lot of success with these guys. SOCIALS15 takes $15 off this 5% best bet. All right, guys, I will see you tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern talking about tomorrow's games. And I also have, I can't believe I'm doing this, I have a Leafs podcaster and a Leafs guest coming on to talk all things Maple Leafs. I can't believe I'm doing that, Carm. But thank you for watching, guys. A lot of fun as always. Carmine at WagerTalk, myself at WagerTalk. Thanks to Prez. Thanks to Brian. And as always, a thanks to Dan behind the scenes. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Sexy devil. Wow.